Hi, and welcome to another edition of Amy's Opinions. Today, we're going to ask you guys, our audience, or whoever actually listens to this, to help us settle a family debate that has been going on for years over whether or not Superman is better than Batman. So we have on Team Batman, Maggie
Hey.
and Oscar.
Hi.
And on Team Superman, we have Alicia
Hello.
and Lawrence.
Hello.
Now, I'm just going to be honest. I am Team Superman, so you guys have your work cut out for you to convince me that Superman is actually not as good as Batman. How we're going to do this episode is we're going to discuss different topics, and then we're going to have kind of like a debate. When we're done with deciding who's the better of the two DC superheroes, we're going to go into Marvel versus DC, and we'll let you guys help us decide which format is better. So, to give you my opinion and why I think Superman is better, the first Superman comic came out in June of 1938. Batman came in second. He came out his first comic came out. Batman, I don't think has come out yet. In March of 1939. The first Superman movie was on the silver screens in 1941, whereas Batman waited till 1966 with a TV movie by Adam West, who I think is honestly the best Batman hero, but we'll get into that later. Then we have the TV series. Superman had a TV series as early as 1952. Poor little orphan Batman, who only has money, didn't come out till 1966. So Maggie, this is something that we've had quite a bit of debates on. Please explain to me and try to change my mind why Batman is better than Superman.
Okay, simple. Batman just is. I mean, without his powers, what would Superman do? Just be a journalist. Batman has had to adapt to not have powers and be able to fight crime, and he does that well. Meanwhile, Superman, you show him kryptonite. Oh no, he can't do anything.
Really?
Different types of kryptonite affect him differently. Red kryptonite turns him evil. Green kryptonite, that's just his regular weakness. Then you have pink kryptonite, which does weird stuff to him.
But have you ever seen Superman cry and boo-hoo almost every single episode about being a poor little rich boy who lost his parents? He lost a whole planet and he still overcame.
Keep in mind, Superman was a baby when he lost his whole planet, so he doesn't have any memories of them. Batman has memories of his family.
Well, what's that cave that Superman goes to where he can see his parents? The Fortress of Solitude,
That's
where
not
he
a
can...
cave.
Well, in some adaptations, it's like a cave. But anyways, it's a Fortress of Solitude. And he can go and see representations of his parents and interact. Superman had higher technology than Batman ever did on his planet.
Yeah, but Batman funds the whole Justice League.
Again, he's a poor little rich boy.
There would be no Justice League, meaning Superman wouldn't be able to be a symbol of hope and justice around the world.
Well, he already was before the Justice League was formed. Alicia, what's your thoughts?
I thought it was supposed to go to Oscar.
No. We're going to have Alicia rebut yours.
Well, you pointed out that a single rock kills Superman, right?
Yeah, and Superman has no defense against that, unlike Batman, who knows.
Oh, no. Superman has defense.
And he has defenses against that.
So what you're saying
Superman,
is,
he crumbles.
what you're saying is only one rock can kill Superman. But in theory, any rock could kill Batman. Superman, save for that one rock, is practically invincible, and Batman is just a normal human. So, say in theory there was a gigantic rock that was falling from the sky of any kind.
Meteorite.
I guess you could call it a meteorite.
A Wile E. Coyote boulder coming on the highway.
That
would
wouldn't hit
anything.
Batman, because Wayne
that.
Industries, that wouldn't hit Batman because of Wayne Enterprise Industries, I forgot what it was, would have technology set up to destroy the meteorite before it even hit Earth. Keep in mind, he funds the entire Justice League, the Watchtower, and all their defenses.
Okay, but we're not talking Justice League. That's a whole group of heroes. We're talking who's
so
better.
You're calling him a whiny little rich boy.
He is a whiny little rich boy with toys. Lawrence, don't you agree?
I mean, Batman obviously uses his resource to the best of his ability. Just he's not that wholesome Americana that Superman represents. And I think that's where Superman takes the cake, especially against Batman. Batman's the nitty gritty in your face. He's gonna beat up the bad guys. Superman's more of the all-American hero. He's not out to bring punishment as much as capture the bad guys for justice. Now, when there's aliens with superpowers, he gets a little combative, and they have some good fights there, and he kind of enforces his own justice upon them. But as far as the normal average day bad guy human, he takes them in and he brings them to the police. He doesn't create excess harm to them. He does what he can to stop them.
All right, Oscar, in your opinion, because you're team Batman all the way, why is Batman better than Superman?
So I would pull a few points from previous arguments. First would be yours in your opening argument. You said Batman came out later than Superman because they're perfecting a perfect story. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to make sure Superman was like the cushion of it failing, and then Batman on top of it was the cherry on top of the cake. You know? Bada bing, bada boom.
What you're saying is,
And with the rock theory Alicia pulled up, I like to say, of course, in theory, any rock could kill anyone. Duh, that's how you use physics. You know, Batman and Superman, neither have been invincible. They both have weaknesses. Everyone has weaknesses and their strengths. Batman is really headstrong. He's well planned, well orientated, and very thought out. If you think about it, Batman has a plan B for every single superhero he have ever encountered or is aware of, or in case they turn against him or against good.
Right.
Batman has that back line. That's the Ralph thought that makes Batman superior, because Superman relies on his powers, his alien gifted powers, which is, yeah, it's great. It's superior being. That makes him a superhero. Batman is human comparing to that alien, you know? Where a lot of people praise him as God, he is comparable to him. Imagine that.
You're
A simple
saying
human.
Batman is comparable to God?
I'm saying Superman is praised as God in some places. You know?
Superman is praised as God because
And
he came from
Batman
another
is
planet.
compared to that, you know?
No.
Batman is
So
compared.
here,
Oh, don't twist your word. This ain't no tornado up in here. Don't twist your words. I know you.
no, I just want to be clear.
No, you're-
Batman has multiple weaknesses. He has to have extra plans because he doesn't have any special powers. He has money and toys.
in perspective, yeah. In
Okay.
perspective, yeah.
So money and toys. So is that saying the guy who does SpaceX, he's a superhero because he has money and toys?
Does he go around
Depends how
hiding
you
time?
look at him.
But is Batman really a defender of crime, or is he a vigilante?
Well, duh, he's both.
Yeah. He strikes fear into the hearts of the villains of Gotham.
Because he beats them up.
As he
Exactly.
should.
Alicia, you look concerned. What do you want to say, baby?
Alicia, you actually...
You got to talk. You can't just look like you're going to puke.
no, I'm trying to figure out how this thing works. It keeps going like big and then small. I don't think I can do technology. So, in my opinion, I guess I really don't have an opinion on it. That you're trying to compare is like apples and oranges. They're different, and I think each of them has their own strengths. I would argue that Superman
Batman's better.
I would argue that Superman would probably be the better choice. Instead of doing a more vigilante style like Batman, who just beats people up, even gets close to, I think in some cases, even killing them, Superman works towards bringing justice and having them helping to apprehend them and getting them to the police. So instead of taking the law into his own hands, he's still following the law and helping the police force. Batman doesn't really quite do that as much, I think. He's more of go after first. And yes, I know exactly what you're going to say, but he's more of go after villains first, think about consequences for them later. Whereas
That's
Superman works more towards apprehending and delivering them to the justice system so that way the law can deal with them, and he's not dealing with them by taking the law into his hands.
Technically, Batman also works with the law, because where is the bat signal on top of the GCPD? He works with Commissioner Gordon, who is a member of the GCPD. So he does work with
They
police.
have a bat signal that they have to pull on to go to the bad parts of the crime area. Superman just seems to know where they're at. Wouldn't you agree, Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, Superman obviously has his resources too, like his super hearing and his super sight, so he can pick up crime from far away just by listening for it.
And he also listens to
like the police station, right?
Yep, as a reporter, he's got his ear to the ground on it.
so he doesn't need a big bat signal to know, hey, someone needs help.
For all of Bruce Wayne / Batman's toys and everything, he still has to rely on a searchlight with a symbol on it for people to get a hold of him. I think that supercomputer should be able to listen to the police scanners and such too, and the fact that
Yeah,
he's
he
got to
does.
have a searchlight kind of.
So what you're just to sum up what Dad's saying, Batman, ooh, right, I need to go help. Superman uses his resources and helps find people. Batman, who has money but is too lazy to come up with a system like a police scanner to see where he needs to go help. Superman goes out and helps. Is that what I'm hearing, Lawrence?
Does have
Yeah,
a police
that's
scanner.
pretty much it.
Batman
No,
does
the
have
Bat computer does detect on his satellite because he has connection to all the satellites. He has worldwide view.
But he
Yeah,
doesn't
what's
help
going
the
down?
police until the bat signal comes out.
Oh no, he helps the police even without the bat signal. He just does it on his own without it.
Can we keep in mind that they are both living in two separate cities with two totally different police systems?
And they deal with two completely different sets of villains. Like, Batman has to deal with the Joker, Harley Quinn. Superman just
Not in the
steals what's in
crossover
there.
book comics.
Okay, comparatively, yeah, they deal with the same situations in the cross comics. However, compare them separately and together, they still have their own ups and downs about each other, pros and cons. They still have their own different resources that get the same job done.
Okay. Alicia, in your opinion, before we go on to another topic, who's the better superhero?
That's a tough question. I want to say Superman, but I really don't know. They each have their own strengths and they each have their own weaknesses. But I would argue that neither are really all that much better than the other.
Wow. So you guys have convinced Team Superman to kind of be neutral like Switzerland. Oscar?
You made me Team
Yeah.
Superman.
So you didn't have a
Ooh.
choice in the matter.
Well, Mom,
Wow.
Ooh, you
well,
got
everyone was
covered.
getting up
What did I
against
tell
Mom
you?
growing up, and I felt bad.
So you did it out of pity.
So you're a pity Superman fan?
Only for you, Mom.
See, Superman gets pity fans.
I'm not a
Wow, you
big fan
guys-
of Batman. At least he doesn't get pity fans.
All right, Oscar, you're going to just say Batman, right? In your opinion, that's Batman.
Absolutely.
Magnolia,
You already know Batman all the way.
Lawrence.
Superman.
Well, I hate to tell you guys, but you're all wrong. The best superhero is Wonder Woman.
That's debatable.
No, she's a demigod. She has really no weaknesses. She has the lasso of truth. She has the invisible jet. She came out in the comics shortly after Batman and Superman. She came out in 1942. She had her own TV movie in 1974 and her own TV series in 1975. And then with this new in 2017 with Gal Gadot, is it Gadot?
Gal
or
Gadot.
Gal Gadot? I can't say her
Gadot.
name. Last name. Who I think is an awesome Wonder Woman.
Obviously not. You can't even pronounce her name.
Oh,
I just see her as Wonder Woman in my
she's
head.
taking her family name. So,
Shush you.
oh,
Honestly, I think out of the whole DC comics, Wonder Woman is my favorite superhero. You know, in the TV series, she was originally came in as a nurse before she became an assistant. And I remember seeing that as a little girl. I even remember my Wonder Woman cruise. So I'm just saying, Wonder Woman can beat up Batman. She can beat up Superman. She's part god. She's an Amazon. She has the lasso of truth. And she has the wristlet things that she can bounce bullets off of. My opinion is you guys are all wrong. Wonder Woman's the best superhero.
I think you did this whole podcast.
Perspective. Her perspective.
All right. So let's talk Superman. When you think of Superman, who do you think of? Which actor do you think of playing him?
Henry Cavill.
Okay.
That
I don't
tracks.
think of an actor. I think of the from Young Justice. That's Superman, the animation.
Cartoon.
Yeah.
No, the newest Superman movies.
We're
Wait,
talking
wait.
Superman movies. In the Superman movies, who do you think of as
Oh, the
Batman?
movies.
Yes.
I don't know actors' names.
I'm
Yeah,
supposed to know
yeah, yeah.
actors' names?
Okay.
Like, the most recent one was Henry Cavill.
Chris Story. First. He was
Yeah, when Man of Steel came out. That's the one I remember. Man of Steel.
Okay. Lawrence, who do you think of?
I always think of Christopher Reeves, but that's what I grew up with.
Okay. What about Batman? Who do you guys think of when you think of Batman and live action Batman?
Adam West?
That's my girl. Maggie?
Yeah, I also think of Adam West, but also Ben Affleck, just because he was the one in Batman
Right.
versus Superman.
Now I'm gonna tell you guys, Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson are my least favorite Superman. Or Batman.
Batman's?
Yeah, Batman's.
This is really bad.
And I
I'm
made
supposed
you
to be
pick me
Team
to go see the
Superman, and I
Robert
only know
Pattinson
Batman.
one?
No, because Ben Affleck was too old to play Batman, I think. And he didn't have the right characteristic. And Robert Pattinson always plays like he's constipated. So I don't think he was the right role unless you wanted a Batman that's constipated. I like
He
the
was
Adam.
full of shit.
He was. My favorite two Batmans were Adam West and Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton
Which one
was
was
by
Michael
far
Keaton
the
one?
best Batman. The cheesiest one, Val Kilmer.
You think Val Kilmer was cheesier than Adam West?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, the rubber suit with the rubber nipples. Yeah, cheesy.
Michael Keaton was he was the first Batman when we were teenagers, right? When they were redoing the Batman
Yep,
movies in
when
the 90s.
Yep, when the movies
That was
started
the one
coming
after
out
Adam
again.
West, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say he was the one right after Adam West that I can think of.
Well,
I
either
think
way, it
that-
was after Adam West.
All right, so we all have different Batman thoughts. When I think of Superman, I honestly think of Henry Cavill. I think he did the best job out of all the Supermans. He was the most latest Superman. I know they're bringing another Superman. Batman movies are pretty dark, but the Superman movies where they keep going back to his origin stories over and over again. We saw that with Christopher Reeve. We saw that a couple of times with Henry Cavill. Look, if you're going to make a Superman movie, advance the storyline a little bit. Stop repeating the same old junk. I'm just saying.
Wow,
Yeah.
somebody's a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm a Superman
And
fan
you
all
say,
the way.
whoa, zoo. They're milking that My Planet's Dead thing. Woo, woo, woo.
No, they just keep repeating the same storyline.
I wonder when they're going to do a live action Batman and Robin, though.
They did it in 1966.
Yeah, but that was the Nightwing
And
suit,
then they
or
did
almost
again.
Nightwing suit.
They did again in the 1990s.
I thought we watched that one together when we were kids, Maggie.
But I mean, like a more recent Batman and Robin.
Oh, look, Maggie's looking things up. She's our tech guru. Okay, so what is better for you guys?
Yeah,
the
and
Superman
the-
series or the Superman movies? The superhero movies or the series?
Yeah, and one in the 90s, they gave Robin the Nightwing suit more than an actual Robin suit, it looked like.
Okay.
Sorry. But
Okay, so back to my question. If you're going to watch a DC show, would you rather watch a movie with live action or anime?
animated movies. I feel DC does better animated movies than they do live action movies. Just like I feel Marvel does better live action movies than they do animated movies.
I second that. Yes,
Yeah,
I
there's
agree.
a difference between animated movies and anime. They're not
Sorry.
the same thing. So
I'm
when-
sorry,
Ooh, he
my-
caught you. He
Really?
caught you.
You guys are smart.
We know.
Alicia, what would you prefer? DC? Live action or animation?
Doesn't I don't really care much. If the storyline's crap, I don't want to watch it. But if it's not, then I'm fine with it.
Okay,
There's
so
not
you
much.
really have no opinion.
No, not really.
All
So,
right.
neutral.
Neutral.
So DC Comics came out in 1934. Marvel's actually had 3 different titles. So they came out in 1939 with Timely Comics, and then they changed to Atlas Comics in the early 1960s. They became Marvel Comics. Now, recently, we've seen a lot more Marvel movies in theaters that bridge and build and interweave, which I appreciate. They have some humor in there. They're not so dark when you go to the screen. They're more kind of upbeat, movies with the action. And DC's come out, and they've come out with the Justice League in response to the Marvel Avengers. For me, in my opinion, I'd much rather go watch a Marvel movie versus a DC movie, unless it's a Wonder Woman movie or unless it has the whole Justice League. Just a Batman movie or Superman movie or the Flash movie, yeah, they don't have as much humor, and they always seem to be filmed very darkly.
Yeah. I will say Marvel does better with their movies being a lot more colorful and not as dark. Just because I'm remembering a scene from a Batman movie where I thought it was a picture of railroad tracks because it was too dark to see what the picture they were showing actually was.
Well, and even with the darker themes, not just visually, but storyline too. I think, if you're going to see a DC movie, it's better to go see one that has the group. Now, I liked Aquaman, and I liked the Wonder Woman movies that came out because they had some humor in them and they weren't quite as
Stiff.
dark. Yeah. I think they need to find a new Batman. I think the best movie Batman that I've seen so far has been Michael Keaton. So I think they need to find someone that can act, at his caliber. But to me, in my opinion, the Avenger movies, when they're just like Iron Man or the Guardians or, just one-on-one versus the whole group together, I enjoy them. I like going and seeing them. I like watching them. I laugh. I get tense. I get worried. But they deliver more entertainment for me.
Right.
What do you think, Lawrence?
No, the Marvel, they found the formula for doing a superhero movie, and it works very well. You can watch that movie and you can leave the theater and you can feel good about, the outcome of the movie. And yeah, there's always action and death and destruction, but they're focused more on the overall outcome and the betterment of humanity, where Batman movies or DC in general tend to be the world's going to hell and we're just fighting as much as we can to keep it a little bit longer, but at the end of the movie, the bad guys are still kicking everybody's butt, and it's kind of a more grim of outlook of the things.
All right, Alicia, what do you think, Marvel versus DC movies?
Hey, like the DC movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Marvel movies are great. I enjoy them too, but I do kind of like the darker aspect of the DC movies. I feel like it's more
realistic.
Yeah, more realistic. It kind of makes more sense, especially today. I enjoy how tense it gets in those movies, and I also really enjoy the way the characters kind of navigate a world that's not quite picture perfect. I mean, the Marvel world isn't quite picture perfect either, but I feel like the way the DC movies portray it is a bit more realistic in the situations that they find themselves in than what you see in the Marvel movies.
Oscar, your preferences?
I agree with Ali. I like the more darker, more grim aspects to stories. I love Marvel. It's very fun, entertainment, whimsical in most movies and shows. Like, I like Agatha All Along. I love that one. That was a really great show. But the thing I like about DC, like Ali said, it's more realistic in the real world compared to the real world. It's not going to be, all right, plan's going great, and it went great, and then they accomplished whatever they needed to in Marvel. Yeah, there's a couple bumps, but that's realistic. But in DC, it's just like, all right, it's gone downhill, it's spiraling down, it's getting worse, you're losing hope, and you're kind of getting down. And usually, if it's not a cliffhanger, it's like, all right, at the end of the day, everything's destroyed, but it's safe. There's hope. to rebuild, and it's going to be a lot more effort to rebuild whatever was destroyed. And I like that. I connect more with that more grimness and stuff like that. I do like how intense and very aggressive DC can be. I do agree that it's always picture dark, like very visually, it's really dark, especially in a movie theater. I get annoyed when movies do that and you kind of miss out on part of the visuals of the movie.
Okay. Now let's talk about actors. I think DC did a great job with their Wonder Woman choice. I think they've done a great job with their most recent Superman choice. Batman, I think they need to work on.
Well, that's
Yeah, I
DC.
agree on that one.
The Flash, I like the television Flash better than the movie Flash. Aquaman, he wasn't blonde, but I think Jason Momoa does a good job playing him. I liked Black Adam. I liked what's the one with all the kids that go
Shazam.
Shazam. Is that DC?
Yeah, Shazam.
Yeah, that's DC.
I think they did a good job. But on the other hand, I think the people that they chose to play the Marvel characters were spot on. I mean,
Yeah, it definitely seems like they put more thought into Marvel live action castings than DC.
I honestly, Scarlett Johansson with her Black Widow, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, the guy who plays Captain America.
Chris Evans?
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
I've seen him in some other shows, and he's kind of a sleazy guy in some other shows, and then he comes across as Captain America and just wholesome. The Guardians of the Galaxy, spot on. I think Marvel did a much better job with their casting than DC. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like DC, for the most part, like, their casting isn't always spot on like it should be. I feel like, especially if they're trying to do Batman before he has Robins, they need to pick a younger Batman. Because, if they're going to do an aged up Batman, then they need to at least mention that he's had Robins, and maybe even mention that Nightwing's in Bloodhaven or whatnot.
And they need to stop. Oh, poor Batman. He lost his parents. We did it already.
They don't do that all the time.
Almost every single movie, there's a flashback to his parents. Okay, we
Same
get
thing
it.
with Superman. Same thing with Superman.
Wow,
You have to admit, same
heartless.
thing with Superman, though.
Yeah, I have to agree with Oscar. It's the same thing with Superman, Mom.
It's the tragedy that makes the hero.
But in the Christopher Reeve movies, they build on those movies.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying Superman needs to stop repeating the same stories. Batman, their standalone movies, they kind of need to stop repeating the same stories too.
I agree.
I think Batman makes a much better TV show than a movie.
Yeah. Like, and to me, I feel like DC, they have their animated movies down, and they do really good with their animated movies. If they can take that formula and rework it so it's good for live action, I think that would be great if they want to really get into the live action.
But I think they also have to choose the right actors and
yeah.
actors to play those parts.
Because for me, I would love to see a Batman and Robin movie where Robin's actually looks around the time when he got a Robin, whether it's Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, or even Damian Wayne as Robin.
Okay. Lawrence, what are your thoughts on actors in the movies?
Just personal preference. The Marvel actors seem to do a better job than the DC actors. They're not horrible or anything. It's just personally the feel goods that I get from Marvel movies are better than the ones I get from DC movies, and that's what I enjoy. I don't want to go to a movie to watch something that's going to make me more miserable than maybe I already am. I want something that's going to at least make me feel good about being there.
All right. Alicia, did I ask you this question yet?
Good question.
What do you feel better? Who do you feel cast better in live action? DC versus Marvel?
I would say Marvel, except Adam West.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I gotcha. Adam West is one of my all-time
But-
favorite Batman.
I think out of every other DC character, I think the only ones that they've really gotten right so far recently was Wonder Woman. I do enjoy the actors in the Marvel movies better. I think they were better choices, especially with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like this latest Spider-Man.
But I honestly think that Marvel did casting better. And I think some of the only good castings DC did really was the Adam West Batman and the newer Wonder Woman.
Okay. Oscar?
Yeah, I agree. Marvel, you definitely connect with the actor as that character. But in DC, like I like the new Wonder Woman, the new Aquaman, and those are like I like they're doing great. I'm convinced that is that character. But like with the new Batman, it kind of felt like they were just like it was just the closest guy that looked close enough to it. You know, he didn't have that grunge Batman actually carries, you know?
He just
He
looks
pops-
constipated. That actor
Yeah.
always looks constipated. Let's just face it. Every movie he's ever been in, he looks constipated.
I don't know any of his other movies, so
Twilight,
He was
I
in
can't-
Twilight.
I've not
constipated.
seen Twilight, so I don't know what you guys are referencing for it.
He just looks constipated. He was in Harry Potter.
What movie?
Well,
He was Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter.
I don't think he
Yes.
was.
Yes, he was.
I'm out of
That's
Harry
different.
Potter since I
Okay.
was a little girl.
And he looks constipated in every single role he plays.
Oh, no, he
Okay.
was. He
Told
did
you.
play Cedric.
Which
Okay.
character was that one again?
The
guy
guy
who
that dies that Voldemort kills when they get the cup.
Hufflepuff.
Okay. We're
We're
going
going
Yeah,
into
yeah.
a different,
Off the
different
rails,
genre.
off the rails.
So let's
Off
get
the
back
rails.
to
let's get back to comics.
Oh,
Overall, you guys have convinced Alicia to switch to Superman. So now it's 3-2, and if Lewis was here, it'd be 4-2. So you guys, I think you won that debate. You
So
didn't
glad
change
we
my,
won it for Superman, guys.
Didn't
That's
change
what
my
I'm
mind.
saying.
you didn't change my mind. You didn't change your dad's mind, but that's okay.
Y'all
I
are
still
stubborn.
think
It's
Wonder
okay.
Woman beats both Batman and Superman.
Okay, people
You know
from
who
the
I think beats
1900s
Wonder
are
Woman?
stubborn. We got it.
Who beats Wonder Woman?
Spider-Man.
No. 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 And honestly, Spider-Man should have been named Spider-Boy when he first came out because he was a teenager.
Man,
Yeah, but no one wants to be called Spider-Boy.
He was
Look
a
at Shark
hard-working
Boy and
man
Lava
getting
Girl.
those pictures of himself.
I'm just saying. But anyways, no, Spider-Man, that's he's and the guy who plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, I think he's perfect for it.
What I like about Tom Holland is that outside of the camera of the character,
Well,
he's still
let's
like
not
that
forget the
young,
whole Tobey
energetic.
Maguire debacle either. They kind of messed up with that one.
You just totally cut off Oscar.
Oh, sorry, Oscar.
poor Oscar.
I forgot what I was saying.
What was wrong with Tobey Maguire? Lawrence.
Oh, just a stiff actor. It's like Hayden Christensen for Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
Just-
Toby wasn't necessarily, but he was, a big name at that time. I agree, he probably wasn't the best choice. What about Andrew Garfield? Did you like him as Spider-Man?
Yeah, he was all right. He was better, but Tom Holland for sure is probably the best one that they've got so far. Is just being kind of what the character really was.
And I kind of agree with where Oscar was going. Tom Holland seems to be very friendly towards his fans and just like a decent guy. And that makes a difference, when you have these actors and actresses that, yes, they get bombarded by paparazzi, and I'm sorry, guys, they really do. And it's hard to keep a good attitude, but I agree with Oscar that Tom Holland seems like a down-to-earth, decent guy. And it makes you want to go to see his movies because of the way he acts in front of the public. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I'll say he also embodies that youthful, joyous Spider-Man is pictured as, because he's a teenager in high school working a side gig, and he's just very young and energetic, like how a teenager usually was back then.
Yep.
And Tom Holland embodies that just as it is, naturally.
All right, so Alicia thinks Spider-Man's better than Wonder Woman. I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Does anyone else think Spider-Man's better than Wonder Woman?
No, but I will say out of all the heroes, I think Nightwing's one of the better DC heroes. And he was trained by Batman, so that makes Batman better than Superman, so...
What
Okay.
about, you know what Batman does not have? Doesn't
What?
have a dog. Like
No, he
Superman
does.
does.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
he does.
Not a dog with superpowers.
Name
So
Okay, but
dumb.
Superman doesn't have a giant penny.
Yeah. Or a dinosaur in his Fortress of Solitude.
All right, out of all of your superheroes, Maggie, who's your favorite one?
It depends, because
Okay, we're gonna come back to you. Lawrence, who's your
No,
favorite
I
superhero?
have one for
Superman.
DC.
Okay, Alicia, who's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man.
Oscar, who's your favorite superhero?
Come back on me. I'm thinking.
Maggie, have you decided? Of all the superheroes, who's your favorite?
I have two, one for DC and one for Marvel.
Nope, just one. Pick one. Okay, we're going back to Oscar. sorry, who
Doctor
was it?
Strange.
Good
Said
choice. Good
Nightwing.
choice.
And then
Nightwing.
Maggie's Nightwing. Okay, mine's still Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, I'm a Wonder Woman fan.
There's
I wish
shame
I
in
was
that.
skinny and looked like Wonder Woman, but we don't always get what we want.
You're
right.
Wonder Woman in a different universe.
I'd be Fat Woman.
All
All right.
Oh, well, that was easy.
All right. Best platform for live action, DC or Marvel? Maggie.
Marvel. 100% Marvel's better for live action.
Oscar,
Marvel.
Allie,
Marvel.
Lawrence.
Marvel.
All right, something our whole family agrees on. And finally, animation, not anime. Animation.
DC 100%.
Oscar,
DC.
Alicia,
Well, for cartoons, I'd say DC.
Lawrence.
That's a
animation.
toss-up between because Marvel did the Spider-Man cartoon series, and that was actually pretty good, and it was on par with the Batman series that aired at the same time. So I gotta say they're probably both on par.
All right, I don't remember watching any of the cartoons. I probably slept through them when you guys were watching them. So
I do
I'm
remember
gonna
that.
say- I'm gonna say
I'm just thinking about Young Justice.
I'm going to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Agree.
Yep.
That's
My
Donatello.
I don't know which one they're from, but whoever did Teenage
Neither.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's my favorite. That's my favorite cartoon. All right, so we're ending this podcast. We're going to end it with my opinion because it's my show, Maggie. So
I did that one time.
whereas Maggie and Oscar convinced Alicia to go Superman,
Batman.
I'm so glad they
sorry,
convinced me to go
Batman.
Superman.
All right, where they convinced him to go Batman.
Well,
They have not changed
really.
my mind on Superman. They have not changed my husband's mind on Superman.
We
We all agree that Marvel does a better casting job and they do better live action shows. And DC, for the most part, we're torn. But we all agree on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
Yeah,
that's it for-
Michelangelo.
You agree on
My
Teenage
corgi.
Mutant Ninja Turtles, Oscar. Trust me.
you like that show.
You did.
And that's
I haven't
I
watched it
remember
much.
you
I haven't
did.
watched it much. I don't
Did
have
you
an
think
opinion.
I named my corgi Esther?
all right. We're getting off topic. So we agree they both do with DC leading a good cartoon. And that's it for this show. Thank you very much for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 Hey.